Today was a bit of a disaster day for filming. I wanted to take the Series 1 out on a bit of a run because it's a beautiful autumn day, and to see the colours, as you can see up there, the leaves are just changing on the trees, on the maples. So I thought, oh, what a fantastic time. So I rigged up 3 cameras, took the car for a run, and I thought, oh, this is going to be fantastic. I'll get 1 billion comments from this and 1 billion upticks and votes and whatever. And well, everything was a disaster. This camera I'm using at the moment doesn't like camera shake. The GoPro, when I was switching it on, I was actually switching it off. And the GitPro, or Gitmo, whatever it's called, for some reason it switched itself onto still frames. So I had 32,000 stills. Never mind. So I thought we'd have a look around the old Series 1. And this is it. This is a 1958, and actually, just to make life a little bit more interesting, it would have been made around this time, because this was the last batch of the Series 1s, because this one is a 2-wheel drive. And if you look inside here, let's open the door so we can get a bit more light in. You can see there's no controls for the high and low or the 4-wheel drive engagement. It's very rare. Apparently Land Rover made 600, and there's not that many that's still on the road. Well, not that many that I know of. Now, I've had a hell of a job trying to find some age-related material for this. I've tried the MOD, I've tried, what's it, oh, you can get information from the government, official secrets, I don't know, something like that. And there's nothing. But I know it was made around October, November in 1958, so it will be 60 years old very shortly. And when I got it from Ontario, London, Ontario, and somebody had painted everything white, and I mean white. The seats were white, the steering was white, everything was painted white. So over a period of about 6 or 7 years, I restored it, and I hadn't much to do with it really. I didn't have much to do. I had an outrigger on there to replace, and I replaced the rear cross member. I actually used a Series 2A, and I changed the angle just on here. If you see down here a little bit, this has come square on a 2A. And also I changed the thickness, because on a Series 1 it was a little bit thinner. But other than that, I don't think it really shows. I wasn't going to go to all the trouble of buying a Series 1. I put an air portable or a lightweight fuel tank in it, because the Series 1 had just rotted out. So that meant I had to move that outrigger back a little bit. No big deal, and I put some spacers in. So that worked out nice. It's never been touched. It had 36,000 miles on it when I got it. And that's it. 36,000 miles in 60 years. So that means the engine's original. The clutch and the gearbox, it's never been touched. It's an amazing little thing. It's got a bit of a weepy axle here, which I'll pull the half shaft out maybe over winter and have a look at that. But the rest, I mean, I did make a bit of a mistake when I blasted and painted the chassis. I should have painted it green like it should have been, but I did it black because I didn't know. I lost a little rubber thing out of here. These are little rubber stops. I'll show you on the other side. But I'll just give you a quick walk around and we'll have a look at it. Honestly, it's all original. Even the horn, the old Lucas horn. Let's have a go at that. It's original. So, I had to change the lights for left-hand drive lights, but apart from that, the chrome work, and that's original. I couldn't get the proper side markers for it, so I had to put some Defender ones on, which is a bit of a cheat, but, well, it works. The tyres came off a Land Rover 90 that was imported over here many, many years ago, so I put the right ones back on, the 90, and I put these on here, so they look okay. I actually have the original tyres for it, but they weren't really roadworthy. Well, after 60 years. Oh well, it would have been, I was saying, I got it when it was 40 years. I've had it about nearly 20 years. Oh no, I've had it 15 years, that's right. Sorry about that, I've had it about 15 years. And here, is the original MOD plate on it. Now in a minute I'm going to open the bonnet and let you have a look, but let's have a look inside from the other side. Got those original fantastic Lucas wipers on. They're worth the weight in gold, because I mean they're a waste of time, sorry. I had to buy a canvas. I got that from All Wheel Trim. The guy was really nice, and I got some hoops. It did have a hoop frame on it, but when we got it from London, Ontario, the guy parked it up for so long, all the vines and things had grown round it, and when he pulled it out with his big truck, he bent all the framework, which was a bit of a shame, because I would have liked to keep it original. But I had to make the seats. I had the seats made here in Sherbrooke. The backs are the same, the backs are the originals, but the bases, well, the lady in town, she made those. But we made them like the originals would have been done, with a piece of wood, a wooden frame and webbing and foam. So they're okay, they're nice. Petrol tank fillers under the seat, driver's seat naturally. When we got it, the steering was really bad. I mean, it was bad. So I left it for about a year with an oily rag on the top of the steering while I was doing something else. And all it was the top bushing was tight, and then all of a sudden it let go, and it's been fine ever since. And I tell you something, it's even lighter than power steering. Mind you, it's bound to be, isn't it, because there's no weight. What else can we show you before we open the bonnet? The exhaust system was kind of funky to find, so I ended up putting one off a 2.25 naturally aspirated diesel. Or was it? No, tell a lie, it was a 2.25 diesel, that was it. Because if we look back at this is actually an 88-inch. It was just before they brought out the 88s, and it's the same with the springs. The springs are the same width as the Series 2. So, you know, it was awfully easy to find parts for it, even the brakes and everything, because it was always Series 2 2A. But it was just a Series 1, so it's sort of like a hybrid-y type of thing. But, again, it was an original. So, let me put the camera down and I'll open the bonnet. When I got the car, it was in a bit of a mess. Again, everything was painted white. I had to put footwells in. I had to make those. Well, that wasn't too big of a job. If you can see here, we've put like a period type of screen wash bottle on, and some sort of period type washer jets. And the reason for that was because it had wipers in Quebec. They said that you got to have a washing system, so we just put that on, and all it's got is a little manual pump there from a 1960s car, so that works nice. The only thing that's different on this car, well, there's a few odds and sods that are not original. The carburettor, if you've noticed, is a Weber. It should have been a Solex, but I wasn't going to pay a king's ransom to get a rebuild kit, because the rubber parts had deteriorated and it was extremely expensive to rebuild. So, like, for 70 quid I put a Weber on, but if you noticed, I put it on backwards. And the reason for that is the linkages are on that side, and it seemed to work out quite nice, and the same with the choke cable. So by putting the Weber on backwards, that worked. I did rewire the truck. I mean, after 15 odd years the tape's starting to come undone, and I found an original old style Delco coil. Well, that wants a bit of looking at there. But I tried to follow the colours, but I just used as much wire as I could that was brown over here for the right gauge. You may notice also that I've got an SU electric fuel pump on, like the original. Now the reason for that is I did have an American pump on, but the pressure was so high it was blowing the floats off the carburettor, which was a bit of a pain. And even though I put a pressure reducing valve in, it wasn't quite the same. So these old SUs here are designed, these are a pull pump rather than a push pump. A push pump's put at the back like on a Mini, but this is a pull pump. And also a nice thing about these ones, it's solid state. It's done away with the original points. So it was quite expensive, but it works like a charm. So that's not original. The other thing was, let's have a look inside the distributor, and you'll find we've got a Britrest electronic ignition system, and that is the electronic ignition system, and it works like a charm, because as you can see there's a There's a wee bit of rock on these old type of distributors. It does tend to move and wiggle about a bit, but the Britrest one is absolutely spot on, and it always fires up first time. Now, I did go original, and it's got the battery is positive ground, it's not negative ground, so it's all like it should be from the factory. And talking of which, it's got the most pathetic dynamo on that you've ever seen, but it works, and even the strap for the dynamo, the alternator belt, well, that's the original one too. The only thing I did to this engine was I changed the water pump, and funnily enough, they were still in stock at Britpark when I did that, and I think I got it for like £14, which was an amazing piece of deal, and it didn't leak, which is amazing. I had to do the cylinder head because the exhaust valve at the back had burnt out. So I put a brand new set of valves in, because these old engines did tend to burn valves out. So what I do with the fuel, I play around with the timing a bit to get it at its best, but also I put a little bit of an additive in, because this is supposed to use leaded fuel and we haven't got that anymore, but it runs sweet. And there's a little bit of weepy oil coming out the breather. Oh man, I'm not going to bother about that. But the paint's a bit sort of raggy, but the valve cover doesn't leak. Starter's original. What else is original? Oh yeah, look at this. I don't know if you can see this, but even the radiator is original. I don't know if you can see those fins on there. They're really funky. I bet they cost a fortune now. So that's done. Like I said, with the horns original. I don't even think I changed the engine mounts. I think they're 1960 as well. Yeah. So there we go. When I like to do a car, I like to try and keep it as original as possible. But like I say, for practicality, the Britronics and the carburetor, well, that went without saying. But I'm not one who's going to take all the engine out and fanny about with it and do it up and things like that. Where do you stop? I just wanted to drive it. And it wasn't going to be a daily driver, but there we go. That's my Series 1. Well, I'll tell you what I had a problem with: the air cleaner. I put a Series. I made a hybrid Series 2 air cleaner. So the bottom had dropped out. So this is the top of the Series 1, and the bottom's off a Series 2 because they rotted out with water. I did put a different fuse box in. I put a fuse box in from a Series 3 because this system only had one fuse for everything, and even I thought that was a bit too basic, so I split up the fuses. If you're driving this in the rain at night, which I did once, and I will never do it again because I got absolutely soaking wet, the charge light comes on because there isn't enough power to run the headlamps and the wipers. And no, I'm not going to put a different dynamo on. I'm just going to keep it as it is. In fact, funny enough, even the regulator is the original regulator for this car. It's absolutely stock. And I took him to an auto electrical shop, and he put them on his tester and he cleaned the points up. And he says, no, everything's fine. He took the back of the dynamo off, and he said, no, it's good. It's really good. I did put some motorcycle mirrors on here. These are the spots where I've got the actual door tops for it as well. I did all the door tops, but didn't have any mirrors on when I got it. And well, this seems a bit of a poor. Well, that's the top hinge for the top of the door, but I got these little mirrors here, and they're really good because you can't see behind you. And the same, I put sort of a Morris Minery type mirror in because being right-hand drive, it's a bugger to drive sometimes. The canvas got a bit mouldy when it was in storage. See here, look. It's not very good. I'm going to have to wash it with vinegar again. But yeah, that's the way it goes. Yeah. Oh, what did we have? We had a hell of a problem trying to get it through inspection, because the inspector says, "You've put the wheel nuts on backwards. Look, you put the wheel nuts on backwards." And I had to explain to him that they're double-ended, which is a great. And then he said, "Oh, what a great idea." I says, yeah, because when you're in the dark, or if you're in a field or something like that, and you can put the nuts on, doesn't matter which way you put them on. And he had to go at me and he says, oh, look, he says, these threads are supposed to protrude out of the ends. It's supposed to have like 2 threads sticking out. Well, we took the wheel to bits and found out it was absolutely impossible to do that. So he passed it. In fact, it was ever so funny when I took it for inspection, because he had to test it by 1958 rules and regulations. So he said, well, first of all, tell me what it hasn't got. So I said, well, it's got no indicators, no airbags, no this, no that, no the other. Anyway, the brake test was really good. He lifted it up in the air, and I had to sit in the car. And he said, put your foot on the brake, and then he tried to manually turn the wheel. That was the test for 1958. So, well, it passed in flying colours. In fact, the brakes are actually wicked, because this car's so light, it stops on a dime. It's really good. But there you go. I'm kind of pleased with it. It's a nice old truck. But I can't keep it forever, but somebody's going to get it one day, and when I'm too old to drive it. It's a shame, really, but I can't, you know, like I say, you can't keep everything forever. But, yeah. Let's have a look at, hey, just while I'm at the front here, you can see why it's a 2-wheel drive. Look, let's have a look right down here. And you can see that it's just a beam axle at the front. And there's your swivel balls, look, in there. See there, look at that perfect chrome. I've never even taken them to bits. I topped up the oil, and that was it. That's all it's ever had. Even the shocks are original. They've never been off. But the springs were in a bad state. They were all saggy. Perhaps one of my winter jobs is to take a couple of leaves out, because these are off a Series 3, and they're a bit stiff. They're a bit bouncy. Well, you know what I mean. They're not soft enough for my liking. But yeah. Just out of interest, these the lubrication for the top swivel pin is kind of funky. When you've got the shaft sticking through here, it's got sort of a dummy shaft sticking through the shaft, like which would be the drive shaft, and it's got like a flare on the end which flings oil round. What a simple idea. So there we go. Again, I keep saying there we go, I always find something else. But 1958 Series 1. So I hope you enjoyed that. I made this Land Rover better. I'm really proud of it. If you're ever in our area, I'll take you for a drive. I promise. Talk to you later.